We should not let our fears hold us back from pursuing our hopes. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. Great crises produce great men and great deeds of courage. The ancient Greek definition of happiness was the full use of your powers along lines of excellence. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. If more politicians knew poetry, and more poets knew politics, I am convinced the world would be a little better place in which to live. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past, let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life. There is, in addition to a courage with which men die, a courage by which men must live. The one unchangeable certainty is that nothing is certain or unchangeable. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life, I find. A boy spends his time finding a girl to sleep with. A real man spends his time looking for the one worth waking up to. The supreme reality of our time is the vulnerability of our planet. Those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda, it is a form of truth. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed and no republic can survive. We cannot negotiate with people who say what's mine is mine and what's yours is negotiable. We need men who can dream of things that never were. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. Let us never negotiate out of fear. But let us never fear to negotiate. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Liberty without learning is always in peril, and learning without liberty is always in vain. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. Ideas have endurance without death. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. As we express our gratitude, We must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them.